Hi, everyone, and thank you so much for joining today's episode of BioWiz podcast, Meet the Weezard. I am Elizabeth, and I am thrilled to be today with Riccardo Pozzoli. Hi, Riccardo, how are you?
Hi, Elizabeth. Thank you very much for having me here. I'm great, thank you. I'm really good.
That's nice to hear. Riccardo, you are an entrepreneur and a serial investor. And I would like to take you back forward a little bit 10 years ago when your journey started. You really entered the business world by creating an industry, sort of, without even noticing. So could you tell us a bit more about what happened back then?
Yeah, I think that it's not really creating an industry. It's more like surfing a wave. I always try to use this metaphor because I think that it's always like that. I don't believe that the big change or revolution come from entrepreneurs. I mostly believe that they comes from the society, and the right entrepreneurs are just the one that they have the intuition that something is changing. So we were in the right place in the right moment, like we were young, we were finishing university, we were understanding that the world of communication and fashion was changing because us, we were the first that we were bored of something that we were seeing, so we definitely, it was more like just okay, let's do that anyway. Nothing bad can happen, let's try. And as I was saying, it was the right moment because everything was changing. So fashion blogger, for example, around the world, probably there were 20, maybe something like that. Instagram, Snapchat, Twitch, they were not even existing. There was Facebook, but still was something very, very different from what it is today. And by getting into this world, we slowly really felt like a big wave, exactly. Getting back to the metaphor, that we were just starting paddling to get on the wave, and we realized that this wave slowly was bigger, way bigger than what we were thinking. And without even realizing, 1 year after, we were on all the magazines, top fashion blogger in the world are this, and we were among those. And we really realized that all the fashion industry in that moment was completely revolutioning their way to interact with their clients, their community. And potentially the fashion blogger that then they would become influencer were exactly, the right tool to share this change, to share this new need of sharing in a different way all the feelings and all the experiences of the fashion world. We're speaking about 2010. Me, I really think that 2010 was not only the passage from one decade to the other, but was really, let's say, the real passage, the real change from a completely different approach toward marketing. Speaking about luxury, fashion and luxury industry, like all the fashion luxury world realized that was not enough anymore to just launch new product every 6 months. But they started realizing that they were missing something. They were missing, there was a gap between the brand and the clients. Like just being on a big, super cool and fancy fashion magazine was not enough anymore, because the world was changing and the world was asking for more. Digitalization was completely changing the approach to information. So they were not, people didn't want just to get top-down information anymore, but they want to have a different, like a more peer-to-peer approach. So we are in an horizontal world. We are not anymore in a vertical. So fashion understood that. Fashion immediately started moving toward that, and fashion blogger, they were the perfect tool, to understand the need of the communities, because they were, fashion addicted first of all, and getting in touch with the company to try to create something together. And that's exactly what I did. So along all 2010, 2011, I was just going to all the fashion industry, try to understand to the fashion companies, trying to speak to the marketing managers and whatever, and trying to understand what it was their need. And basically, they were just telling me, "Oh, Riccardo, we are not satisfied anymore with the old journalist that is just writing the article. Now we need to entertain our community. We need to have something more empathic, also having people putting their face, like giving a message." And so I just try to develop, let's say, a professionality into that, like in listening to the big company and trying to transform that into contents. And the fashion blogger, and mostly our fashion blog, The Blonde Salad, was definitely the best tool in that moment to do that, because it was easy, it was new, so you could write whatever you want. So you didn't have any, rules given by an old system with a lot of tradition. And that's how we started. Then we invested in people, we hired people, we started writing contents, we started taking a lot of picture, videos, sharing, then slowly getting to all the social media, more and more. Obviously, Instagram then was a completely revolution again, because in our small world, let's say in the beginning, it was just the blog and everything that you could do that. Starting from 2012, 2013, Instagram went mass all over the world, and also somehow destroyed all the entry barriers, because everybody without a reflex, without a computer, could start influencing, if they were getting audience. So even from that point of view, change again, and made it even more, easier, like really easier to get into the world. So again, like it's really, as I'm saying, it's a huge wave that is going, and it's quite the real talent is to always stay on the peak. That's
exactly, to stay on the peak and to know how to get on your feet also when you see the wedge coming up. And that's what's great is that since then, so you started this whole adventure about influencer and commercializing blog, and you are now today an investor, a real figure on the investment scene. So something changed somehow in between. And could you tell us a bit more about when did you decide to take a turn and how did you do it?
So let's say that during the past 10 years, without even really taking a decision, I've been being contacted by other companies that they were, let's say, other startups, other entrepreneurs, that they were seeing what I was doing and how I was obviously into the influencer marketing world because of my experiences, because of my first company. So they started asking me, oh, you want to get into the board of this startup? We're gonna make you part of the equity, and you're gonna advise us to create a strategy for our product to growth. Because obviously influencer marketing in the past 10 years, it has been one of the best way for many business, for many product to grow. So I started doing that quite naturally, just because I'm a very curious person and I always like to, change challenge. So I started doing that. One of the first projects that I jumped on was Depop in 2013, 2014. Depop is right now, it's one of the biggest peer-to-peer marketplace in the world. When I jumped on the company, they had something like 50,000 users. Today they have 50 million users around the world using the app. So it has been super fun and super, interesting path along the way. Then in 2016, a couple of very good friends of mine, they asked me, oh, Ricky, why don't you co-found together with us a food company? We want to change the way that people working can have lunch in the offices. So we the three of us, we co-founded Furban in beginning of 2016. So basically, still I was the CEO of my first company, but I was already getting involved in other projects, and I really realized by doing that contaminating even different industries could be very, very useful, very interesting. And for my personal attitude, like exploring new industries, like for example in the food catering industry, I didn't know nothing before Furban. So just getting into and trying to learn how the market was and adapt all my skills that I got from other world in that was really, really fascinating, really inspiring. So there I really started understanding that I really like to do that. Then in 2017, I started writing my first book that I published in 2018. And it was exactly my, let's say, my first collection, we can say, of my experience, my first 7-8 years of experiences in the world, in the business world. And the name, originally the Italian name is Non è un lavoro per vecchio. That means no jobs for all people. But obviously, it's just a joke, because the idea is that not that it's a problem of your biological age. It's obviously your mindset age. No, like you really have to be younger to get into the job, the business world today, because it's changing so much, so evolving so fast, that you really have to be completely young, pure from any kind of rules, and really try to test, learn, and grow into that, like you were a kid. So then from that book that became a bestseller in Italy for business, students, startup, and whatever, I started really receiving so many DAX pitches from so many startuppers. Or please help us do this, help us this. We need somebody that is helping us to grow. So I realized that one of the most important thing of all the investor that is have a good deal origination, I was already done, because I had like tens and tens of emails, hundreds of emails with decks and ideas. So from that, I hired a guy like that I already knew, that was has a bit more like analytical skills than me, more finance guy, and we started analyzing project by project, starting to understand. And I started investing like a super small, amount of money, but mostly trying to be a mentor to them. So really trying to say, okay, guys, like what I really can help you is to guide you a bit in this world, because in 10 years I learned so much, then I can guide you now in that. And then, so basically we started like that. It was 2018 that I founded the Delirus Investment, that is my holding company, and Federico is my business partner, and together we are weekly analyzing project, and or we mentor them, or we invest directly small amounts of money, or if they need a big amount of money, we put them in contact with the finance world, so the big investors, the big investment fund, or angel investor, international angel investor. So basically that's it. And I can really tell you that I'm really having fun, because I'm meeting so many creative and entrepreneurial people like that. So it's not just me, it's so many other, and it's very inspiring. And I'm also trying to create network between them, like put them in contact, share knowledge, and that's great.
So I would like to discuss, in the middle of all those decks that you received, you chose WAMI and Treedom to invest in them. And those are companies that I would like really to hear more about.
Sure. So Treedom, I think, and maybe not the first, but maybe the second or the first, or maximum the third company that we got involved in this process in 2018. And Treedom is a beautiful project, I think, for 2-3 main reasons. One, it's pure ecological project, because the idea is that you can adopt a tree around the world. So basically the idea is the claim is let's green the planet. So let's reforest the planet. That's something that we all know, I think, quite well how important it is. And the cool thing is that Treedom is making that even easy and fun, because it's almost a gamification process. You get on the platform, you create your account, you can adopt a cacao tree in Tanzania, and then you can take an orange tree in Thailand and whatever. So it's really it's fun, it's easy, and you're creating a great value for the planet. Me and my wife, for example, we have our forest with hundreds of trees all around, and we give, for example, to Christmas, we give, like, metaphorically, we give those trees to our friends. So it's also, for example, a great Christmas gift to give to your friends. Like, I'm giving you a tree in Kenya, But so it's really nice. It's really fun. And the other great value that sometimes it's a bit hidden, it's not so clear, is that you're not also creating great value for the planet, but also for the local communities where you are creating and where you are planting, because in reality you are creating a huge job opportunities. Like for example, in many communities in Africa or in other areas, having 10 orange trees is not possible, because the orange tree is giving the fruit a long time after you plant. So it's a sort of long-term investment. They cannot afford to do something like that. They have to cultivate maize, like a very commercial and easy things that are destroying the territory, working a lot, and has no price, not real good revenues for them. But for example, if you put 100 orange trees there, you're going to give work for years to the people in that area, because obviously then the community also, they will get the fruits. We are not, obviously, Treedom is not taking the fruit,
the fruits out of the tree.
Yeah, indeed, and the revenues. So everything coming from that, every let's say earning coming from that plantation will go to the local community as they are working. They are planting, taking care, and growing all the plantations. So I think there is this double positive effect that it's absolutely great. Like, you're doing great for the planet, for the vegetation, and for local communities that they need and help, also from that point of view. This is Treedom, and then we have WAMI, that literally is water mission. So it's just the the mesh of water and mission. So that's why it's WAMI, WAMI. And the idea is that we all need to drink, and there are still a lot of areas around the world where this is not so granted, that this is not so easy. So for every bottle of water that you are buying, you are donating 100 liters of drinkable water in Africa. How this is possible? Basically, it's a work that is done priorly, that you buy the bottle, obviously. So if WAMI knows that this year will produce, I will make it easy for the calculation. Otherwise, I need a computer for that. But for example, if we want to, this year WAMI will produce 100 bottles. So it's 100 liters for each bottles. WAMI will basically set up in Africa. I don't remember. The hole in the water, in the ground to extract the water. I don't remember the pump, sort of water pumps.
Yes.
To guarantee to the local communities at least 10,000 liters. So 100 each bottle that they produce. So basically, the cool thing is that anyway, WAMI is donating those 10,000 liters, even if you don't buy the bottle, but just because we produce that amount of bottle that year. And thankfully, in the past years, is going always even better than what we expect. So that I think it's really an interesting concept as Treedom. Like, both companies, and this is something that is really important. Both companies are not charity, are not NGO, are business, real business, making money, making earnings, but also having a positive impact on the planet.
So this is exactly, that's exactly what I would like to hear from you, because you know how to have your eyes on tomorrow's business. And I think that this is it. We are here talking about companies which are focused on do good, ecology, sustainability, long term. How do you make money out of it?
Yeah, that's the that's the good thing is that more and more investors are believing in good business. Like it's not necessary anymore to fuck somebody if you want to make money in the world, but finally it's quite it's quite clear that we are in the position right now to make money and do good for the world. Like Treedom anyway, as a margin, if you are paying a certain amount of money for the tree, then through obviously the work and everything, and through all the years that they are doing this activity, now they are optimizing all the margins, but they are taking a part of the price that you pay for the tree, because then there is the seed, paying the local communities, all marketing. Obviously, there are all the costs, but there is a sort of margin in all the cost, and that's what make the company profitable and really performing, and that's what it is making the company able to plant millions of trees. Like this year, just in 2021, the plan for Treedom is to plant 1 million trees in 1 year. Okay, So it's going to be a great challenge, quite challenging indeed. But if you don't have marketing budget, if you don't have great managers working, if you don't have salesmen all around Europe to contact companies, it's not going to happen. Because anyway, you need, all of that. And I think that this is really the best way, the merge between the capitalistic approach, but with a positive, social impact sensitivity. And this is great. And same for WAMI. Like WAMI, you are paying a certain amount of, obviously, compared to a normal brand of water, that must WAMI is costing like probably not even the 10% more, but it's costing a little more, because otherwise it's not, it wouldn't be sustainable from an economic point of view, the kind of business. So, but me personally, I'm great. Like in our offices, obviously we only have WAMI in all the companies. I try to put WAMI in every company, because just by adding few cents every bottle of water that you get, you are doing so much more, for the planet and for the people that need water. So it's really always to try, I think, to find the right balance between profit and positive impact. WAMI Treedom has really good balance by definition, because you pay a certain amount of money, and from that you take off, the cost of the seed, the cost of the labor, the cost of marketing, blah blah blah. It's quite, we can say that it's a bit more simple. WAMI, it's a bit more complicated, because you have, sometimes we are working directly with few NGOs in the countries that are, planting the pump, the water pump, and so it's not really so let's say so direct and easy to calculate the margins and stuff. And indeed, sometimes it's you really have to have an eye on all the profitability of the company, but the impact is super positive, and it becomes a marketing tool. Like you can invest less money in marketing, because you have such a great marketing message that is buy a bottle of water and donate 100 liters of water. You know what I mean? So it's really, but yeah, they are making money. They are good companies. They are also good investments. So apart from helping the planet, we are obviously doing our job.
That's great that you are calling them great investments, because we are observing this shift about the fact that companies are starting to really think sustainability in their way of doing things, even on how they invest on their own branding, for example. They are thinking long term, and we are observing this shift also in the investment world. So how would you say that it means for the future investment?
Yeah, as you're saying, the world is changing and the mindset is changing towards sustainability. And I really believe that it's not even a matter of thinking about sustainability anymore, but really briefing sustainability. You know what I mean? Like really, we are starting, but even like those kind of businesses, like Treedom, it's not a business thinking about sustainability. It's a sustainable business. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
WAMI is same. So really, there are more and more opportunities of companies that are starting now to work into the sustainable industry, because it's going to be a huge it is already a huge thing, but it's really a sort of switch in our mindset. In the past years, sustainability, it has been used, let's say, maybe exploited many times as a sort of marketing thing, but at least it was useful, this phenomena to sensibilize a lot of people around the world, and that's okay. Every time that there is a change, there is an evolution, there is a phase in which maybe sometimes is a bit sneaky, in using this kind of phenomena, but at least it's really sensibilizing. And right now I'm very positive toward the future, because if we think about the Gen Z, for example, the most important value is sustainability. They don't even care so much about the brand of that, the old established brand, but they care way more to maybe a little young brand, just because, like Treedom or WAMI, just because it's sustainable. So they prefer to buy WAMI water instead of buying whatever established brand of water, just because they don't recognize themselves so much in the past, but they really believe in the future, and they know that WAMI can change the future. Maybe the other big brands, it's not going to change nothing for their future. So this is something absolutely interesting. There are many opportunities, and I think that in the next years it's going to be a huge challenge for the established brand to really embrace sustainability, but in an authentic and credible way, because it's finished the period that you can use it as exploit that as a marketing tool. Today you really have to prove the result. People are asking for result, are asking for concrete feedback, and that's great. Like, so it's gonna be quite interesting. I can give you these news that still I didn't communicate, but in April I'm gonna publish my third book, and it's called On Life. It's gonna be called On Life Fashion, and basically I interviewed the 12 top CEOs of the fashion industry, like a brand like Gucci, Prada, Dolce & Gabbana, all the top CEOs, all their CEOs. And obviously sustainability is the measure, it's definitely the major theme and topic. And it's quite interesting. It's quite interesting because it's going to be a great challenge for them. Like, for example, fashion industry, it's by definition, it's not sustainable. It's not going to be sustainable in the short time, definitely not. But you can do many things, working on the processes, working on the garments, on the fabrics, on the working on the internal waste control, working on the CO2 emission by cutting the travels or the events. Or there are many little things that you can do to improve sustainability, but you cannot change it apart if you don't sell recycled products, but big brands of luxury cannot do that yet. So, but probably maybe something will change. So it's quite interesting, because I think in the future we're gonna see, as you are saying, sustainability is gonna become a major let's say trigger to evaluate a brand. Even for big fashion luxury brands, something will change in the future. Maybe they will even change business model. Somebody probably will do that. Somebody will be better in adapting. Somebody will probably die. So it's gonna be quite charming from my point of view to see what is gonna happen.
And from our point of view too, that's for sure. So we see a lot of amazing projects popping up, really based on sustainability, way of thinking, way of life, and to do better, actually do better. And knowing that investors are also looking in that direction, that's very reassuring, because we are more than certain that match are going to be made, and that together the future will be built. So this is very optimistic. Thank you so much, Riccardo, for all this good energy and for sharing your views on all that.
Thank you so much. And Elizabeth, I wait for you on my podcast.
Gladly.